Hello.
Hey.
I would like to speak with the police chief or a lieutenant, please.
Chief is off until Monday.
Okay.
We don't have a lieutenant. The next in charge will be the captain.
Do you have one of them available?
No, they are not.
Nobody's available to
No.
talk to.
The chief and the captain are usually off Friday, Saturday, Sundays.
What about lieutenant?
No, we don't have one.
You guys don't have a
No,
lieutenant?
we only have 6 officers.
And no sergeants?
Nope.
Okay.
Just the chief and the captain.
Okay. Yeah, because I wanted to come in and complain. I don't know how I go about. So basically the situation is I work for the state training school.
Okay.
I called and I reported a situation because we had a staff who went after a student. I reported it to Health and Human Services and I got fired the next day.
Okay.
I sent a message to one of my coworkers who I'm good friends with. I sent her an email. It was just a copy of the complaint that I filed against the state training school. Like, we're pretty close.
Okay.
And I told her to check her email. I says, you will die. You know, the same thing as you will die laughing or whatever. She took it the wrong way, and I don't know how it got taken the wrong way. Anyways, came down here and filed charges against me, saying that I threatened her. So I just had to go to the jail and take care of a warrant and bond out over that. I have text messages between me and her that show the entire situation, where that's not the case.
Okay.
So I want to know what my options are for somebody filing a false report. It's one thing to charge me with something. I'll have my day in court. That's perfectly fine. But it's also a crime to file a false report.
Yep.
And these messages show it. And basically, what was I going to say? Officer Bradshaw is the one that I dealt with when I came in here. Completely dismissive of anything I had to say. And so I want to file a complaint against her because her comment to me was in an email she sent me was, I can't tell somebody that they can't press charges, which that's not true. As an officer, it's also a discretionary thing. If I'm able to show proof based on text message history, email history that an event didn't take place and that it was a simply misunderstanding. So just for an instance, if you're just looking at this, I'm just going to show you. This is the email that I sent the lady, and I'm actually defending her in there because I even said her name is Minerva, but I've even said in there what happened. That's the letter I sent after I was terminated. This was the copy of the report that I filed with DHS on the 28th, so it shows that I did file a report, and I was fired the next day. And then, because I've been filed a report with HHS, then the state training school tried to send me a cease and desist letter. This is what it said, which I find that to be harassment of its own, because reporting a situation doesn't mean that I'm committing a crime. I haven't disclosed any information other than to DHS what happened with that student. So to get a letter like that, I find it as an intimidation tactic and kind of harassing. You know, now if I was posting things on Facebook or if I was giving information to other people pertaining to a student, then that is a crime. You know, you don't do things like that. And I've never done such things. So there was no need for me to get that. And then basically, that came from the state training school's legal department. And then, let me see here. I'm trying to think. I got another message. So Victoria is a girl that I work with at the state training school.
Victoria Gibson.
Yep. This is her text message that was sent to me on Saturday. She clearly states, and even if you look at the next page, because I told her what happened with Minerva, she clearly states that it was a misunderstanding and that they were going to come here on Monday and get it taken care of. And I even sent a copy of that to the officer, and she completely disregarded that and still had a warrant issued for my arrest.
Yeah, Chief is definitely the one you need to talk to.
So surely you can see where I'm irritated because the message that I sent that we're talking about, just so you can see, it is, because I didn't delete, I have all my email.
Perfect. Yep.
I asked her for her work email, and I said, can you send it to Jason? He's the superintendent. Mm-hmm. I said, sent you an email to your work and personal. I says, you will die, I do not play. Like you will die laughing, I do not play. And I don't know if it's because she's Hispanic, there's a language barrier, but all Officer Bradshaw was looking at was this last message. Yeah. She wasn't looking at all of the messages prior to whatever. And the day that I got fired, I text Minerva, and she called me back because she was mad about me being terminated because she's turned in the same staff member. And we spoke on the phone, had a great conversation for 15 minutes, and then after we got done is when I sent that text because I wanted to CC her in on the complaint that I was filing against the training school. And this is the result that I'm getting. Okay. So it just feels like it's retaliation from the training school because they got sued back in 2019, and I just so happened to work in the cottage that got sued. So basically, they don't want you to say anything about anything or you're going to get fired, and I'm getting backlash for it. So I don't know when Victoria sent this to me and said, well, we're going to come in Monday and get taken care of, and it wind up not getting taken care of because she sent this on Saturday, but then according to Officer Bradshaw, I spoke with Minerva on Monday night. And so when you look at the messages, there's nothing harassing about it. Okay. And that's where I'm trying to prove. Okay. So I don't know if Minerva went and told, because my guess is what happened is after I sent her that message, she probably went to management because she didn't know how to take it at first. And being that I reported a situation, I'm sure they're probably trying to silence her on doing anything. It's the only thing that would make any sense of this entire situation. Yep. So that's why I'm upset. I feel like Officer Bradshaw could have done a much more professional job. I had the paperwork. She didn't want to look at the paperwork, and then to tell me that, I can't control, my sister works in law enforcement field. I have, and like I say, officers can deny charges based on credibility.
Evidence and everything.
And like I said, most people, if you would have looked at the conversation and looked at the previous conversations, and if you would have looked at that email that was associated to that text message, you would see that there was nothing there. So I'm just upset that that officer was dismissive. I feel like if I was a male, she wouldn't have handled it that the same way. Just because a woman feels uncomfortable, we're going to go through with charges. That's not the right way to conduct business. And I don't agree with it. So I just want to make sure that I, because like I say, I'm going to record myself too to protect myself, because this is the problem is I say things and then they get taken out of context. And then I have to deal with this, and this is why I'm really shook up. So I came in here, I booked myself in, I went and did the fingerprints, I got served whatever this warrant thing was. I just got done going to the courthouse and making them run copies off of this stuff here. But I wanted to come in and let you guys know that I have proof. And I want to talk to the sergeant because I feel like charges need to be filed now against her
for the false report.
For a false report, because this is malicious, is what it is. And for the officer making a bad decision, I think she needs to be reprimanded with an apology.
Yeah, like I said, I without even knowing what's going on, from what you've said and everything, yes, I would. I wouldn't even go to the captain. Just go straight to the chief.
Okay, and is he working in this building?
Yes. Yep. Everybody's right out of this building.
And you said Monday?
Hold on, just a second. You can step on it.
Okay.
Let me check the schedule just to make sure here. I know he's got some vacation. Let's see. He is off Monday. He will be back in Tuesday morning.
Tuesday?
Yes.
I can try Tuesday morning.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Would it be possible? Probably not. Would you be able to run copies off of this and give it to him and ask him to give me a call regarding this situation?
Yeah, I should be able
That would probably save him a lot of an aggravation, so he can kind of come in knowing what to expect. Yeah. I just want him to have the full picture. I haven't been arrested in over 25 years, and I've worked for the federal government and state, and this is appalling that somebody would try and do the right thing and, you know. But I honestly think a part of it was a misunderstanding between language barrier, and then I also think that they're probably trying to cover themselves by having her, oh, that's a threat, go report it.
Yeah, yep.
Because she's not that type of a person, and Victoria's not that type of a person either. She's one of the biggest sweethearts.
Minerva, I don't know that. I know Victoria, I've known her for a long time.
Bradshaw knows her too. I was talking about her. I have nothing but good things to say.
But most of the ones I've known out
and
there.
Then I even text Victoria last night, and I told her, because she knows what's going on, and I told her what happened. This is what the Bradshaw told me. She stated she wished to press charges and said that a warrant would be issued for me. And then she read the message, and then she hasn't responded yet, which is unusual. So How do we go from sending a message to somebody saying, my heart is breaking, she feels terrible, we're going to go take care of this on Monday. It doesn't get taken care of, and now you're reading, like, to me, that's harassment. And then the staff member that went after him, the student, L.A. Jefferson, he was arrested back in 2019 in Waterloo for an OWI. He hit and killed a 22-year-old on a bicycle, faced 14 years in prison, got off on a sentence. Explain to me, how does somebody like that even get hired at the state training school?
That would be my question. Will you put your name and phone number
Absolutely.
on there for me? That way I can give that to him. And that's driving me nuts, whatever the hell that is.
And when I spoke with Bradshaw about that, she told me, oh, well, there's nothing that my department can do. It's out of our hand once a warrant's been issued. Well, you should have taken the information when I was down here talking to you. And, like I said, it's wrong.
I'm going to give you a little over there to help keep everything
Thank you so much. And thank you for being so respectful.
Absolutely.
All righty.
Like I said, I will give this to him. If you don't hear anything by Tuesday afternoon, just give him a call.
Okay.
So if you just call dispatch, actually you can call the 939-3333.
Okay.
It'll roll over to dispatch.
Okay.
Just tell them that you want to speak with the chief. They'll either connect you. The reason I say that, with him being gone, a lot of times when he gets back, he's got a lot of catch up to do. So
Absolutely.
He may not get right to it.
Okay.
But I will send him an email and set the stuff on his desk, and I would say 1, 2 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. If you haven't heard anything, give him a call.
Yeah, because it's really hurtful. Like I said, I have a clean record.
Yep.
I worked for the USDA for 4 years, and I left that job, and then I got hired on with the state training school. And it's disappointing because as a young kid, I was a student of that state training school for 2 years.
Gotcha.
So to come back 25 years and make a difference with kids and try and
then,
help something, and then you're stuck in a situation with a staff who goes after a student, and in the face this, because I followed the procedure. We take training on being a mandatory reporter, and you're supposed to go to your supervisor and report it. And I went to it.
Retaliation for a report.
All of us have gone to, and even in these messages, you can see we've all complained to him about this particular staff member, and he's threatened us with our job. He goes, you guys either need to get along or you're not going to be working in here. And then we're all reminded, because we're all on probation, because everyone's new, that if there's problems, you can lose your job. And I just find it extremely odd. I've never missed a day of work. I've always been there early. I filed that complaint on the 28th. I even said I want to remain anonymous. And the lady told me, but since you work for HHS and you're a mandatory reporter, we still got to take your name. So I gave